Welcome to the ace game of the series. It's 1-1, Crazyman versus Dbmb, both contending to take control of the Star-Crossed King's throne. Dbmb did have faction selection for Game 3 very narrowly by about 20 victory points, and he has chosen Overcommando West. He went Axis. He lost almost, I want to say, very narrowly in Game 1. The victory points weren't very close, but I feel like engagements, he was about to turn the game in his favor in a very dramatic way with his Tiger. As Osthair, he has not picked Osthair again. He's going to go Overcommando West, so we have actually not seen this matchup this series. Crazyman goes back to Soviets against Overcommando West. Dbmb seems to feel pretty confident that Overcommando West is going to work for him better than Osthair. Not sure why he picked Axis, considering allies are dominating this series. Salami did the same thing against Cruz yesterday. But we'll see how it works out. Guard motor coordination, shock rifle, and mechanized support for Crazyman. He has not changed his loadout at all. And Dbmb will field elite armor, Luftwaffe, and breakthrough. So I'm actually quite curious to see what he's going to do. No fortifications. I'm guessing breakthrough since that's been so popular. But if he really wants the MG34, he might go Luftwaffe. I guess we'll see. He goes with the 3 Volksgrenadier opening, engaging here on the north fuel point first. Volksgrenadiers moving to support, and it looks like maybe Mechanized Regiment headquarters going up here. Probably doesn't want to set up an aggressive battle group against those heavy mortars. Heavy mortars can be really difficult to deal with on this map if you went with an aggressive battle group. So, not going to do that. Sets up the tier 3 instead. Probably a good decision considering what he knows his opponent will likely do this game. The question is, how will Crazyman adapt to this? He may be forced to go tier 2, maybe even really want to get tier 3, depending on his map control situation, and depending on his ability to manage the threat of the flak half-track. This engagement's getting pretty close. Volksgrenadiers falling low, Sturms need to reload. That burst goes pretty well, dropping conscript models pretty quickly. It's gonna be close. Conscripts will retreat first, Sturm Pioneers will retreat once they're confident that that fuel point will be held for a little bit longer. Volksgrenadiers take up a position in the center building here.
Contact! Small arms fire!
Volksgrenadiers moving to engage the conscripts in the center of the map. And the engagement is won. Combat engineers need to move to retake this cutoff at some point. They do have the victory point under control. Crazyman will take the victory point lead as the clock starts ticking slowly against Dbmb. And the flak half-track will probably be queued up next. No transfer abilities on. About to tick up to the 55 fueling needs. Before throwing the flak half-track on the field, he has picked Luftwaffe ground forces and thrown an MG34 into the center village. Stalling for time with Volksgrenadiers in the church while that thing moves up into position, and the south fuel point is going to fall into Dbmb's control here as well, giving him very strong early fuel control. Fuel income's actually about even right now, despite the Overcommando West fuel penalty.
Capture complete. No enemy activity.
Volksgrenadiers engaging the Sturm Combat Engineers with the flamethrower here in the south. That squad's falling dangerously low. What is it doing? Kind of a late retreat. He's lucky they didn't get flame critted to death. Panzerschreck upgrade on this 5-man squad, so he'll have a little bit of protection against vehicles should his opponent choose to field one. No tech yet from Crazyman, though. I'm thinking he's probably just going to go guard motor coordination with no tech structures this game, judging by what I'm seeing. Folks Grenadiers in the church finally get forced out. The MG34 is set up in this house. Interesting choice. He had a lot of time to make it to the cemetery or the church if that's what he wanted to do, but he chose this house to give him a little coverage of this fuel point, but I don't think he can stop it from getting decapped. Conscripts have also taken control of the north fuel point, so Crazyman had a bit of an advantage for fuel again, but the flak half-track is on the field and making its way towards the north. AT grenades have not been researched, so it should easily be able to push away that conscript squad. This conscript squad, if it gets pinned, may be forced to retreat. But between MG34 bursts, okay, there it goes. Even at that range, MG34 manages to pin that squad, and he will not be able to capture the south fuel point. North fuel point will fall out of his control as the flak half-track chases away that conscript squad. This conscript squad is trying to oorah away from the flak half-track, while AT grenades are still being researched. He needs a little bit more time. Half-track sets up, and those conscripts have no choice but to retreat. And AT grenade research has completed, so next time he engages that flak half-track, that will be an option available to him. Dbmb now going to set up a battle group here aggressively. Interesting choice. A little risky. He knows his opponent is going to go guard motor coordination. There it is. Guards on the field. Setting this up in this aggressive location will of course give him a forward staging point for engagements in the center, but it'll also leave him very vulnerable to the heavy mortar, and he will be forced to try and manage that threat somehow. If the guard rifles are able to screen the flak half-track away from his mortar, if mines get triggered by that half-track, if any of a huge number of possible things goes wrong, even an AT grenade swarm, that heavy mortar will probably just bombard him to death, and then the T-3485s can seal the game. So this is a high risk, high potential reward situation here. No heavy mortar on the field yet. Flak half-track needs to get away from those conscripts. Looks like he'll be fine. Managed to bait a bunch of munitions expenditures there on the oorah. I mean, it didn't accomplish anything. Just got him to waste a little munitions, so that's okay. Flak half-track setting up. Will instantly pin that squad, and they have to retreat. Guard rifles in the church. Stern Pioneers moving up from the south. Meanwhile, another engagement up here. We'll see a grenade tossed, and neither squad goes down. Pretty close engagement on both sides, and the fuel will remain uncontested. Conscripts moving up to take control of the fuel point. Following up, Stern Pios running into short range on those guards. Will force them from the church. Nice dodge on that grenade. Grenades being tossed in two different engagements almost simultaneously, both players dodging them, managing the engagements very well. Very nice play from both sides. On the flank engagements, despite the engagement happening in the center as well. Folks Grenadiers making their way to take control of that victory point. Conscripts grabbing the fuel here in the north, and we've got the MG34 still contending in this house. We'll create that zone of suppression here by the fuel point, protect that. And the forward retreat point is being unlocked on the Tier 2 structure, operating on just a 5-squad army, spending the rest of his manpower on tech. Crazyman does not feel that he can take out that flak half-track without Tier 2, so he's going to throw that up, and I suspect a field gun will be his next purchase, which is going to delay the heavy mortar. So you can see how the pressure that the flak half-track provides you alleviates some of the pressure on your battle group headquarters. Should you go that route first and your opponent goes heavy mortar to counter you, you may struggle more than if you go flak half-track first and your opponent goes Tier 2 to counter you. Flak half-track is a lot more mobile and can manage the threat of an AT gun a lot better than a static battle group headquarters can manage the threat of a heavy mortar. Molotov being tossed into the house. MG34 gets out. Conscripts taking control. Uh-oh. Overextended conscript squad. Not sure that's going to get away. What's in the retreat path? Folks Grenadiers. Flak burst does not really connect. Yes, it does. Squad is wiped. Probably wasn't going to get away even if that hadn't connected. MG34 has a line somehow. Threading the needle between the building and that tree. Will fire on those conscripts and they will get suppressed by the end of the third burst. And Folks Grenadiers move into the capture circle to prevent capture of this fuel and get that conscript squad cleaned up. Will be forced to retreat. Guard rifles bring that Stern Pilot squad quite low with their PTRSs. 2 of them drop. Will be forced to retreat back to the battle group headquarters. The engagement up here not going any better. Folks Grenadiers follow to flamethrowers and will be forced to retreat. Nice grenade in the retreat path. That was well timed, really well timed. We could look at a wipe. PTRS needs to snipe that guy. Shot misses. Both shots miss and he rounds the corner. Beautiful grenade in the retreat path. Perfectly placed, perfectly timed. But he doesn't get the luck he needs to steal the deal. Nice play by Crazyman regardless.
Fresh guards troops are standing by. Full strength.
The hard part will be keeping it.
Flamethrower here on the victory point. Conscripts grabbing the munitions, making their way across the north. There's the field gun to try and deal with the flak half-track should it expose itself. It's rotating towards the center to push away these conscripts, and the field gun is set up to counter. Flak half-track's being careful though. Just going to stay behind buildings for now. If he saw the tier 2 splat in the fog of war, he probably knows the field guns. Oh, he sees the field gun. Sees the field gun right there with his Folks Grenadiers, so he's going to wait for that to either reposition or turn to an unfavorable angle to set up his flak half-track here behind the church, trying to get a line on his opponent's infantry without that AT gun having a line on him. Stern Pios are running straight for the field gun while Folks Grenadiers engage the conscripts in cover. Flak half-track simply moves to engage here in the north. He's at range against those conscripts. They will not be able to get an AT grenade off. This flamethrower squad can't do anything useful. We might be seeing another wipe right here. Oh, he just moved. He just moved. I think he was attack moving the flak half-track, and because they got inside the medium range, he automatically moved. As Fallschirmjäger just got fielded out of this building, could probably wipe those conscripts. They unload a full burst on that squad, but he does get away narrowly. Fallschirmjäger in green cover may be able to win this against guards in yellow. Grenade could turn the engagement. No dodge. Late dodge. Tries to retreat, but that bundle grenade does huge damage. Nice opening engagement for those Fallschirmjäger, up to 6 kills already, and they've taken no manpower bleed. You should probably be careful about these Fallschirmjäger, though. We've seen it time and time again how Fallschirmjäger can bleed your manpower down to nothing. But Dbmb has total map control right now. Crazyman really struggling against this flak half-track. Not able to get a line on it with his anti-tank gun, which has been stolen, by the way. His anti-tank gun got stolen by those Stern Pios charging it at close range. Stern Pios are up to 14 kills, so they're doing quite well.
Assembly complete. Enemy infantry assaulting!
MG34 is set up in the cemetery instead of the house to create a protective zone across the river. Those guards will be forced to retreat, not making any progress in that direction. These two squads here in the north are going to continue to maintain victory point control, look for opportunities. Crazyman has been pressured into going tier 3. He doesn't feel like he can stall for Collins this game, or maybe he just doesn't feel like he'll make it to Collins. I don't know. Either way, no T-34-85s are going to hit this battlefield for a very long time, and he's going to need to make a very dramatic impact with his first tier 3 unit, which will probably be his only tier 3 unit.
Crews can now repair their own vehicles.
He might be thinking T-70, he might be thinking T-34, but whatever it is, he needs to make a huge impact with it and take a ton of map control. Hopefully also secure some wipes, otherwise it doesn't look like this is a situation he can come back from realistically. Fallschirmjäger trying to get the VP back.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies.
Still haven't dropped a single model. Probably going to in this engagement though. One of them goes down. Conscript's about to get suppressed.
Enemy forces are attempting to capture our territory.
And there they go. Fallschirmjäger up to 8 kills. 8 kills for only 1 model loss on a squad of Fallschirmjäger is definitely good value.
Taking fire!
He needs to keep that going. He's going to retreat them for healing now. MG34 firing on conscripts that are jumping into the building. With no field gun left, doesn't really have a have a great way to take this thing on. And there's the Jagdpanzer from Dbmb to protect against the T-70, which is in production now, hitting the field before even the T-70 is going to put Dbmb in a great position. It only takes 2 shots for the Jagdpanzer to kill this thing. If he can take out that T-70, I think any hope Crazyman might have had of winning this game will be pretty much gone. MG34 gets cleared by guards. Flak half track will suppress them and protect that MG34 from being potentially stolen. T-70 is on the field making its way towards the center. Jagdpanzer has already arrived. Fallschirmjäger are also a very nice utility to have for the Panzerfaust against something like a T-70. If you can damage its engine and get that Jagdpanzer in range to fire on, it's pretty much guaranteed dead. Here in the north, Sternpiles are still available to engage, and those conscripts just hit a huge mine, taking 4 losses from the mine, and the Sternpiles will be able to maintain control of the area. Conscripts moving around the left flank. Sternpiles set up in green cover, though. No mine on this particular approach. If those Sternpiles are positioned properly in cover, they might be able to... No, they won't. Definitely not be able to win the engagement. The T-70 is on its way. Jagdpanzer's chasing. That T-70 may or may not be able to get away from this. He's trying to take advantage of the fact that the Jagdpanzer has no turret. I don't think Crazyman thinks he can escape. Back to base, so he has to circle strafe this Jagdpanzer with a field gun protecting the... and a Raketenwerfer protecting the Jagd's flank. That T-70 is now completely stranded here in the north, and Dbmb is trying to hunt it down. I don't know how that thing's going to escape, but he must keep it alive. It's so out of position right now. He needs to rescue it. He needs to find some way to rescue it. Raketenwerfer available here. Going to retreat back towards the center. Field gun covering the road. Jagdpanzer circling back around. T-70 is still a little bit stranded. Jagdpanzer, I don't know. I'm not sure what he's going to do. T-70 looks like it might have an opening to get to safety. But again, 2 shots from any of these anti-tank weapons will kill it. Field gun, Raketenwerfer, Jagdpanzer doesn't matter. Field gun looking for an opportunity. It wasn't attack moving though. Wasn't attack moving, and oh, that T-70 is going to get a huge opportunity right here to escape. Field gun will not get a shot off. Yes, it will. It does get a shot off on the rear armor. The Panzerschreck does slightly less damage than other anti-tank weapons though, and that will not be sufficient to destroy that thing. And the T-70 somehow makes it back to Crazyman's base alive. But other engagements on the map not going quite so well. Failing to take control of the south again. Fallschirmjäger set up in the green cover of the cemetery are up to 12 kills. They've taken 2 model losses, I think, throughout the entire game. So they're performing quite well. Guards are moving to try and take control of this north fuel, and a tier 4 structure is going up to protect the center victory point. And Dbmb does not feel a particular need to be that aggressive. He has enough map control right now that he can simply defend and wait for stronger units to arrive. 60 fuel in the bank after purchasing a tier 4 structure. And he may consider going Panther. May consider going King Tiger. The game will last a very long time if he makes that decision, though. May consider going Panzer II to apply more early pressure to his opponent's infantry formations. Heavy mortar is finally on the field. After going tier 3 into T-70, after losing a field gun, had a lot of manpower losses. Has to spend a lot on reinforcing those wounded squads. So, heavy mortar took quite a long time to field, but he does have it now. Curious what he's going to start shooting at first. You won't be able to move it up very aggressively without a very solid infantry screen. But he does find a harassment opportunity here in the south while it's temporarily undefended. This MG34 is still decrewed. Dbmb does not seem to have any intention of recrewing it. Maybe he doesn't feel that that would be worth his pop cap at this time. He does have 1 suppression source left. Oh, there he goes. So he does recrew it. Heavy mortar firing on the church. T-70 engaging from the south, trying to find a harassment opportunity, but couldn't make anything happen. T-70 falls dangerously low. If that Jagdpanzer finds a shot, it could go down. Jagdpanzer won't be able to rotate around him quickly enough, though. Fallschirmjäger in the building. Vacate it. As a grenade is tossed inside, destroying it. The T-70 is pulled back for repairs here on the south bridge, and conscripts are engaging at range. MG-34 moving to set up right there. T-70 has to pull back even further. Be sure to get to safety. Heavy mortar has 2 kills and needs to start getting a lot of miracle shots to equalize this game. Sinking the Jagdpanzer on the ice would be a good start. T-70 hasn't been able to have a very dramatic impact. Like I said, he needed his tier 3 unit to have a huge impact for the game to be even again, and it just hasn't done anything. It has 0 kills. It's Vet 1 from the damage it's inflicted on various infantry in the Jagdpanzer's rear armor, a couple shots. But it hasn't inflicted any manpower losses on his opponent, so, or even really been able to secure any map control. It's been mostly idle or fleeing ever since it hit the field.
Capture complete. No enemy activity. Ready to deploy. Mortars, get down! Getting closer! Enemy infantry!
Fallschirmjäger working on conscripts in the south. Really efficient management of these Fallschirmjäger, by the way. I really like his Fallschirmjäger's movements. They never seem to engage more than 1 squad at a time, and he's up to 17 kills with them, having only sustained 2 model losses on that squad throughout the entire game. T-70 exposes itself to Jagdpanzer fire for too long, and it will go down. I don't know if Crazyman can recover from this. He's still so far from T-34s and has very little map control, struggling to maintain control of even 1 fuel point for any significant amount of time. Dbmb on the other hand up to 135. And at 77 of 100 pop cap, he has 900 manpower with which to continue to hold the territory he currently has. Crazyman only at 40 pop cap, 400 manpower in the bank, 150 fuel in the bank. Very difficult situation for him to be in. Victory points are still pretty even. Dbmb has a 100-point lead, taking control of the victory points once again. The north is largely in Crazyman's control, but Dbmb is in a very comfortable situation right now. As long as he doesn't make any serious mistakes for the rest of the game, he should be able to take this series. Volksgrenadiers in this building, contending with guards on the fuel point. Not sure who wins this engagement, honestly. Flak half-track will turn it in favor of Dbmb as it moves up. Suppress them, get them out of there. It is now Vet 2 with 38 kills. Look at that. You can really see how specialist Oberkommando West is. All of their DPS is concentrated in just 1, 2, or 3 units. The flak half-track, the stern pyos, and the Fallschirmjäger are the only real damage sources in this entire army. The rest is just screening troops and suppression. Anti-tank specialist. Semi-heavy anti-tank utility on the Volksgrenadiers. Doesn't do nearly as much damage as the Jagdpanzer does, certainly. Ooh. That was a big hit from the heavy mortar, but not enough of a miracle hit. Not nearly enough of a miracle hit from that thing. There goes that full squad of conscripts just to a flak burst right there. How many kills does this have? 44. 44 kills. Airborne assault here in the north to call in yet another squad of Fallschirmjäger. And Dbmb, normally I say getting this many Fallschirmjäger is manpower inefficient, but he spent munitions for one of these squads, and he has such a huge amount of manpower float that honestly he can afford these elite infantry squads at this point. And Crazyman is just losing total control of the game. He knows he's not going to make it to Collins. And that game was kind of a slow burn, but Dbmb pretty much just outplayed Crazyman from start to finish. Great usage of the flak half-track. Good infantry movements, good map control, building control. Really solid play. Didn't really see any serious micro mistakes. A field gun never even got a shot off on this flak half-track, I don't think. Never even got hit with an AT grenade. Great usage of that. The Jagdpanzer hit the field before the T-70 could even get out. And the first two games made it look like Allies just dominate this map, but Dbmb turning that around, turning that on its head in Game 3. And even though he went with an Axis pick, takes the game quite gracefully and will become the new Star-Crossed King. GG.